Zimmerman did that great throw. He had gotten just past him, and he dropped that in the bucket, didn't
Yeah,
he?
I believe that's Davis's first touchdown. He's gotten better every week. He's your position receiver, but what the play was set up though, they had the press coverage. Once he got past the initial man, no safety help, touchdown. That don't sound. Extra point up and it's good.
Hey, great job. First series had a little adversity on the holding call here, and overcame that in about 2 minutes and 37 seconds in, we've scored,
Yeah,
which is
six.
what you wanted to do in that first drive.
Yeah, 6 plays, 54 yards. A nice 36-yard pass, and that was on third down, 3rd and 10.
Yep.
And Davis did a great job. Got great separation about 3 yards down. And what's kind of funny too, I was able to talk to his dad and brother coming in, and we were kind of joking about it at the time that I was telling them what a great job he's been doing. They said, "Well, hope we don't jinx him tonight." And I guess, well, we can throw that out now.
Yes, 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 yes. Hey, someone else that I think's done a great job, and we talk about that on in the press box on our side of it. Uh, Grayson York has done a wonderful job. We hadn't kicked
Yes,
anything out of bounds. He's kicked a lot into the end zone, and not giving people a chance to return the ball, even with a little wind in his face. I think Grayson has done a great job, and he's done really well on extra points this year
well, the
also.
42-yard field goal last week to end the half. So yeah, he's done a great job. And we were worried about that at the time. It's going to take a bounce into the end zone, and Heritage will start their first series at their 20-yard line. And we were a little concerned going in, not with Grayson so much, but just the fact that Jackson De La Souza did such a great job last year kicking the ball. And it's good to have. I don't think he's missed. The only extra point we missed, I believe, is because we had a bad snap.
Yes, 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 yes. He's done. And De La Souza was just so good for his last 2 years with us, and the 42-yarder from last week would have been good from 47, and it was right down the middle, so he did well.
Dominique Castanado will be your quarterback. Your running back will be Amir Dingle.
Former Southside kid, right?
Yes, he actually returned kicks and was the backup to Tucker his sophomore year. He'll call in motion here. They got a trip set to that side. Here's a bad snap to start the ball game on the field.
Southside's on.
Southside's got it.
Outstanding. What a great play. What a great play.
That's big old John Parkinson over there
There
making that
you go.
recovery. It looked like the quarterback looked to his right when the ball was snapped, never saw it.
Yeah. So I don't know if he snapped it too quickly, or if he just got lost on the count or something like that. But Parkinson did a great job. Let me just say, if he doesn't fumble it, Parkinson's still standing beside him really quickly.
Well, the key will be Parkinson. I think them trying to block him is going to be tough. And, I like the idea too, maybe stunting him sometimes, bringing that back or working off that side, kind of freeing him up a bit because he's had to face double teams all year. Southside will start this drive on the Heritage 11-yard line. They lead 7-zip with 9:21 to go here in the first quarter. There's a handoff. That is Gregory going to the outside, going to get to the end zone. Touchdown, Southside.
Outstanding job. First play. Listen, this is the kind of start we wanted to have this week.
Exactly.
You have a team that's been reeling a little bit the last couple of weeks. You want to kind of get there quickly and put your foot on their throat, so to speak, and don't give them a chance to start hoping that they're going to turn it around this week. What a great job.
I think 14-zip is what you exactly wanted to see. And, coming off an 84-zip loss, you knew that was going to be tough for these guys. And a little bit slow getting their last man in for the extra point attempt here by Grayson York. Jackson Davis on the hold. Ball is down. Your kick is up. Kick is good.
Just like that, 14-0. Just like you draw it up.
Well, I think the key here, too, is just keep pouring it on. Put this game away at half. Get some other kids in there. And it's really a good time after that 3-game gauntlet that Southside just went through. Get these kids a little bit of a break. I know the kids don't like it, but, get them a little bit of a break, get them going in ready for the rest of the season.
Well, we talked about earlier about the remaining schedule, and if you look at West is 4-2, but they're 2 in the conference. Harbor's 2 in the conference, but their schedules have kind of been flipped.
Mm-hmm.
They played the easier part of the schedule early on, and now they're starting to get into the part that we've been playing for the last 3 or 4 weeks. So the next 3 or 4 weeks should be exciting. There should be a lot of movement outside those first two teams, I think, over the next 3 or 4 weeks.
Yeah, you just kind of hope, too, that maybe when some of these teams come to Southside, that maybe the week before they thought maybe a Fayetteville Bentonville Rogers. Give us a little bit of a break as Grayson York will call for the Mavs. Back deep will be Landon McQuay Harper. Here's a kick, and it's a good kick. That thing is going to go into the end zone. And that, to me, Don, that is what we talk about every week. To me, that is a weapon. No return. That is a weapon.
Absolutely. Everybody puts their stud back there, a guy that can, that got a lot of moves and a lot of speed and stuff like that, and you just absolutely take him out of the ball game. So these guys have had one play, one turnover, and we've scored a touchdown. We'll see what this one brings.
Yeah, we got that turnover down to -5 now. That's a good start. Again, Dominic Castaneda, your quarterback. No backs in the backfield. They'll bring Dingle in motion. Going to want to throw the ball. It's going to be a keeper by the quarterback. He's going to be hitting the backfield. He's going to get away and going to get back across the 20, maybe to about the 22-yard line.
A lot of white jerseys in the backfield. Kind of looked like that first one where they fumbled it. So looks like the defensive line is pull their ears back and they're just going after it.
We'll give Castaneda 2 yards on the play, brings that second down, 2nd and 8. Yeah, this defense right now, that was a design quarterback draw, and I'm not sure who that was that got in the backfield right off the bat. Had a chance to get him down, wasn't able to, but really forced him further outside. Got a whistle on the play.
Braxton Canada in a hurry there to get in the backfield a little bit.
Well, that's got to be the one thing I know coach isn't going to be happy with is 2 early penalties. We barely played, just barely 3 minutes. Southside 2 penalties for 15 yards.
I believe last week when we were playing, I don't think, did we have a penalty last week?
Yeah, we had a hold, I know, at one
Is that
time.
right?
We had one hold, I know, and then we had the pass interference penalty, the bogus pass interference penalty.
Yes.
Here's a pitch out to the right side. Actually, excuse me, the left side. And he's going to have the first down across the 30. Will be hit. And actually gets away. We'll get across the 40 up to the 42-yard line. Makes a nice run. That's Michael Hester on the carry as Braxton Canada there for Southside along with Dwight Johnson on the tackle. And that's going to be the key, too, is this Southside defense is going to have to figure out some ways to get off the field.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. And, we're still young on the corners, and we're having to leave the safeties kind of back there helping out with the corners, and it takes away a little bit from our ability to send the house, if you will.
Well, Hester, they don't have his height and weight on here, but he can't be more than 120 pounds.
No, absolutely.
Interesting formation going strong right to left, and now they moved again. Should be a flag. Looked like a Chinese fire drill, Don.
Yeah, they were going both ways, weren't they?
Never seen that. They had everybody on the left side. They bring 2 of them over to the right side, and they got Southside to jump earlier.
It looks like they were trying to take the other 2 to the left of the center and send them to the other side.
And I think the other guy, you're right, the other left guy, he jumped up. He was going to go back. They looked like it was going to be kind of what I'd call a student body right.
Yeah, they were pulling that left guard, so they were definitely going right.
Bring up first down, 1st and 15. Pretty decent crowd here tonight.
Not bad. I haven't been here in several years, and it was grass the last time I was here. And as you and I talked about during pregame, I'm looking forward to the chicken plant smells time in the middle of the
you'll
third
get
quarter.
The haze will come on about 8:45 or so, 9 o'clock.
Maybe the train will come through while we're here.
There's Parkinson again over there, along with I think it was big on number 99, Nathan Clark.
Yep, lost another yard.
Yeah, it'll be second down, 2nd and 16. It's kind of interesting. They huddle up, try to give you a different look. They come out of different spots, going to run up the line of scrimmage. You got 12 seconds on the play clock. That's an interesting formation. Nobody on the right side. Here's going to be a pass. Actually, it looked like he's going to be hit and dropped, and we've got another flag on the play. This may be a hold.
I believe they were going to throw to the wide guy on the right side over there. I think that was actually going to be a pass.
Yes.
And we had great coverage on that guy, and he just decided he needed to tuck it and try to get what he could get out of it.
Got a question for you, though, Don. You watch this formation where they load up one side, and all you got's the center on that side, and they'll decline that penalty. It was a false start.
I think it was a hold.
You got to be salivating over there if you're Reeder or Parkinson and you don't have anybody blocking you on that side. You got to figure it's going the other way.
Especially Parkinson last week. He had two guys on the whole time, and at least one of the two were holding him.
He wasn't just holding last week; it was ripping his shirt off.
Oh yeah.
We had a suggestion maybe getting him some Vaseline or something. There they moved again. Going to throw the ball out. It's going to be complete, and he's going to be hit and dropped after about a 3-yard gain. That's Evan Shelby making the play for the Mavs. That was Landon McQuay Harper on the catch, bring up fourth down.
About 13 left.
What I have liked about this Southside team this year too, Don, is the fact even when we played Fayetteville, Bentonville, and Rogers, we're actually the bigger team, and we can't haven't said that in a long time about Southside. And I'm looking at this Heritage group, and it's a bunch of small kids,
Yes. Yeah. Well, our offensive line is starting to look some of the offensive lines of old as far as size goes.
and they're athletic. And here's a quick kick that Grayson York will be able to field. He's going to be able to run it back, crosses the 35 up to the 40-yard line, will be tackled at the 43-yard line. Good job by York of coming up, taking that ball. I mentioned this too, in the fact that you could let the ball bounce, but you're giving up yardage. He picks it up and takes it back about 12 yards.
And I think we've struggled with that a little bit
Mm-hmm.
sometime this year where I don't know if we just haven't gotten back deep enough and we're having to move on it. And we've had a couple of times where we probably could have picked it up and maybe not gained a bunch of yards, but saved ourselves some
Well,
yards.
sometimes it's some of those Phil Necro bounces,
Yeah.
like a knuckleball coming
Yes.
at you. Again, 5:46 to go here. Southside leads 14-zip. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Mavs at the Southside 43-yard line. Want to throw the ball here, throws the ball out. It's going to be complete. Makes the first man miss. I believe that's going to be Gregory on the catch.
Close to a first down. That was Gregory, wasn't it?
Yes. It's hard to see those numbers sometimes. One guy I'd like to see him get going more, maybe try to stretch the field out a little bit, maybe get number 6, George Harrell deep.
You know, Harold was such a big part of our offense last year. And he gets out there and he makes some nice catches and stuff.
He's made a couple of home run plays. You go back to the north side game. Here's a big handoff up the middle. That's Gregory at the 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Southside.
49 yards on the run. Outstanding. I tell you what, that thing just busted up the middle. And when he got past the linebackers, there was no one there.
Well, that offensive line, it was just, I don't think he was touched on the play.
No, certainly not. And he was leaving them. He was leaving those guys. So he was blowing by them. So about 5.5 minutes left in the first. And if you're a Rogers Heritage fan, this has to be a little reminiscent rather, of last week.
Hey, you said they had 49 in the first half last
Yeah,
week.
yeah.
So, yeah, it's kind of reminds me a lot of the Van Buren game for Southside. It's extra points up, and it's good. It was a two-play, 57-yard drive. Obviously, the 49-yard play. Actually, Gregory gained all the yards on that, catching the first pass and then going up the middle. 2 touchdowns tonight for Isaac.
Well, it should be interesting. You have to think, you know, these War Eagle young men have struggled mightily in the last couple of weeks, and you know, you have to worry or think rather, will they lose their confidence? And it's got to be tough to lose that badly twice in a row.
Yeah, and it also gets to a point too, just from a human factor too, Don. You after a point, you kind of feel sorry for those kids when that does happen, what they've gone through the last 2 weeks, and really what's not that I want it to change by any means. I want Southside to keep getting you know putting that lead on, but you feel sorry for those kids at a point. They work as hard. Every kid works hard that
Yes.
plays high school football, and you like to see at some point and maybe getting rewarded.
Heritage's deep guy is only back at the 9 yard line. I would think that from the first two kicks that they would be back near the goal line.
The first one actually bounced past him,
Yeah.
which actually, if it had taken some of those hops that Grayson seems to get, York seems to get, and we'll go in the end zone again. That'll be another touchback. But uh, that one hop, if it takes that back hop, Southside's down there on the 2 yard line because
Yes.
that kid really didn't pay much
Yes.
attention
Yeah.
to it.
I think
So,
he thought it was going by him. The little backspin on that.
well, that's what you want to do. Heritage, this will be their third possession of the first half. They started every possession of their 20-yard line. Southside got a big break early on the fumble recovery by John Parkinson. In fact, Southside has run 3 plays here on the last 2 series and scored 2 touchdowns. Very efficient.
Kind of like the Van Buren game, if I remember correctly.
Yes. In fact, we could have had two more touchdowns. We kind of started trying to work on some things and had a couple of mistakes. Here's a keeper by the quarterback's going to take across the field. That's a Dominic Castaneda. It's going to have a first down for Heritage.
I read earlier this year in news that they thought their quarterback was going to be this Jack Ham kid, and I don't see him out there tonight. So I don't know. It was the Castaneda guy, the guy they had last year?
I think it was. Yeah,
Yeah.
Jack Ham, they got him listed on the roster. He's number 14, and I'm not sure if he's down there or not. They've had some decent quarterbacks up there. It's just they're kind of like Southside. They really struggle with depth. Don't have a lot of excess players. Here's going to be an inside handoff and going to be hit after maybe a 2-yard game. That's Michael Hester on the carry.
Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go on that one.
There's your big guys in there again. I believe that was big old John Parkinson along with Quan Torrey.
And Reeder was right there also. Andrew Reeder, 94. Second down and 8.
This will be the third play of this drive. We've got 4:26 to go here. Southside leads 21-zip. Castaneda wants to throw the ball. It's going to be tipped. And I'll tell you what, I believe that was probably big old number 89 again. John Parkinson. He's got to be having a great time tonight after having to face all the double teams and everything. And he's in the backfield the whole game.
From the very first play.
Bring up third down, 3rd and 8. Southside stays online this time. Looks like they're going to come with outside blitz. Both backers look like Canada along with Dominic Parkinson going to come on this play. There's a snap. He's going to get rid of it quick. He throws it. Dingle makes the catch, and he's going to get the first down as he's able to.
Just got the 40-yard line.
That was that 5'8" help that right there. He's able to
Yes,
duck down and get.
yes.
Yeah, he just barely got it. They marked it right. It's just barely touching the 40-yard
Yeah, the
line.
nose on the ball is just like, Dingle's not a big kid, but he's got lots of moves. I remember him when he was at Southside. He's got a lot of wiggle.
Yeah, he was actually a really good kickoff returner for Southside. They got him back. He's actually one that's on the side for Rogers Heritage right now. And 3:52 to go here.
The big shift again.
Going to be pitching out here and not going to get anything. They're going to knock him back. The only thing about that, I see why he does that is try to confuse everybody, but at some point, you know where the ball's going.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Yes.
They may have it in where they actually go the other way at some point. I don't know, but it reminds me of back in the 80s when Southside won their first state championship. They played Parkview with James Rouse, Ricky Williams, rode a team.
Yes.
And Coach Lundy told me, and I'll explain the rest of it after this play. They second down, 2nd and 10 for the War Eagles. Here's an inside handoff.
Is that Dingle? I think that was Dingle.
No, Dingle, that was, again, Hester. Dingle was actually on the outside.
You were right. It was Hester.
Yeah, I think that was Parkinson again getting off the pile. He's going to have 20 tonight. And anyway, in that ball game, Southside ended up winning like 14-6, and Parkview had basically mercy ruled everybody all year. And they had James Rouse in the backfield. But what they figured out was every time Keith Jackson went in motion, that's where the ball was going. And so Southside had some big linemen, just kind of stacked that side and was able to stop that, which is amazing that nobody else had figured that out. So, again, 3rd down. Going to throw the ball. It's going to be incomplete as the intended receiver was open but fell down.
It's a nice throw. Our guy was behind him. If he wouldn't have fallen, that ball may have been complete. Unfortunately, it's 4th down and 8. Or fortunately. For us.
Well, that was a 6-play drive for Heritage, so they got a little bit of positivity out of that.
We were talking about last week, and they were down 49-0. I was a little surprised that they put 35 points up in the second half when you're up 49. I would think you'd put the sophomores in and run the ball up the gut.
Well, the only thing I will say about that, here's a returnable ball for Grayson York. He makes the first man miss, actually comes back and gets him and makes a good play, and we got a flag. Interesting to see what this call is going to be. It was a good job, though, by River Zane's coming back. He actually overran the play and came back. But we kind of talked about this, and I'll say this, and Coach Pratt, I think it is. No, it's not Coach Pratt. It's Coach Warner, I think, at Bentonville. A very class gentleman came up against Southside one year, and he really worked us over pretty good. And then by halfway in the second quarter, he had his second team in. And so he'll do that. But I think what happened in that game is we talked about this, not this year because Southside has some really good running backs, but a lot of years you'll come up there and you're looking at that third string running back and you're thinking, man, that guy could start for 6 or 8 teams in the league. And they were, when they played Southside, they were able to run the ball really effective too. So I think that was probably part of it. But I'm like you, man, to score 84 points in a mercy rule is tough.
15-yard penalty moves the ball back to the 20.
Yeah, penalties have really hurt Southside. You want to throw the ball here, go throw the ball out, it's complete. I believe that's Gregory again. Makes a man miss. Now he's in the open field and we'll get across the 35 up to the 36-yard line.
I think that's Amari.
Yeah, that was Amari.
Yeah, it was Amari. Yeah.
I love watching these guys run. I mean, they're to me they're real similar. They're tough runners, but they do such a great job of stop and go. Actually working Amari, and that's kind of interesting. That I don't believe he came out of the backfield that time, did he?
No, I think he was in the slide, actually.
That's a new look we haven't seen. Here's a handoff to Tucker. He's going to fight his way across the 40-yard line up to the 41-yard line, gains 4 on the play, brings a second down, 2nd and 6 for the Mavs.
Hey, good job tonight, in my opinion, of mixing plays up. We've thrown the ball down the field. Sometimes we have a tendency to throw wide and not get down the field, and we've thrown the ball twice down the field, one for the long touchdown in the first there. So it's good to see us running wide and running up the middle and then also passing across.
I'll tell you the play it would work is that fake the handoff one way, tuck the ball back by Zimmerman. It will be wide open if they run. Now, here's Tucker, breaks it loose. He's at the 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Southside.
58 yards. And again, right up the middle. And once he got past the linebackers, it was him and the safeties, and nobody could get him.
Okay, Don, our last 3 series, we had 1 play touchdown from 11 yards. We took over again at our 43. We go 2 plays for a touchdown. They put us back at our 20. It's 3 plays, 80 yards for a touchdown. That's very efficient.
It is. And if you're a Rogers Heritage fan, this is starting to look really reminiscent of last week. Into the first quarter, looks like it might be 28-0 again. Just a great start. Just a great start.
We still got 43 seconds to go here.
Yeah.
Of course, if you're the Mavs, you're going to play your first team the whole first half. And I'm kind of seeing where they got the 49 now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I would, we've got a stretch of games that are very important for us to get us a home game. And, we could still potentially finish third. I would not want to get anyone injured.
Well, I think that's the whole plan tonight. They knew coming in that this Rogers Heritage team was reeling big time, obviously, with the scores that you had seen. So I think it was a game where if Coach Dameron could come in here and just kind of punch them in the face a little bit, let's do that. Let's get out of here and being healthy because we've got some guys that are a bit dinged up. I've talked to some of the parents and they'll tell you about some of the kids, things they're dealing with out there. And it'll be good to get them some rest. And what's interesting about this place too, Coach Dameron can tell you a lot about this place. He was actually a quarterback for Rogers.
He played high school here.
This was actually Rogers High School at the time, and he was the quarterback for Rogers, and I believe they won the 7A West, which was different that year because you had the Central, actually the one that had all the Little Rock teams in North Side, and then we had like Conway, Russellville, and
was that back when it was 5A and 4A? When
yes.
Southside was playing 4A, and
yes.
The 5A was Northside and everybody in Little Rock.
And they didn't have a playoff because the winner, whoever won the league, was the winner of that. And here's a kickoff. It's going to bounce to the end zone again.
He's consistent. Yeah, I believe that Coach Dameron was an all-stater.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, he may have made the super team. You remember we used to have the super team in Arkansas?
And he also walked on at Arkansas the next year and was actually a starting cornerback his freshman year, which that was the team that you had the likes of Billy Ray Smith and Richard Richardson and a very good team that went, I believe that year they went to the Sugar Bowl and played Alabama. Didn't end well, but it was a good season nonetheless with Kevin Scanlon at quarterback. First and 10 for Heritage at the 20-yard line. Castaneda wants to throw the ball, is going to throw the ball, is going to be complete on a nice pitch and catch there to
Boy, it
Barrett
was.
Engel.
Boy, the coverage was good on that
Yes,
too.
it was. He threw the ball right where you had to throw it.
He did. What, second down and 2?
Yes, second and 2. Ball will be spotted at the 28-yard line. There's 23 seconds to go here before the end of the quarter. Looks like Rogers Heritage may try to run one more play. Got one back in the backfield. That's Hester back there. And it's going to be a penalty on Hester, I believe. Actually raised up and moved forward.
I just haven't seen this much movement in an offensive line in high school in a long time.
Well, they called offsides on the Mavericks when actually it was, I didn't see that. I saw Hester move to the line of scrimmage. That's one thing I know Coach Dameron won't be happy with is going to be the penalties. That is the fourth penalty tonight on the Mavs.
Well, we had the one that was 15 yards here on the kickoff, and we've had at least 2 offsides.
Had the holding.
Yes.
Referee's trying to get the clock going. Either that or he's
Reset the play clock.
I believe Rogers Heritage is going to let the clock run out.
Yeah. You see the coach waving them in. Keith, that's how you want to start the first quarter.
Yeah, I'd rather like to see the rest of the season go that way. But you were talking earlier too, Don, about the games coming up, and that Harbor game next week is one that I think last year really kind of turned Southside's season around. We were down, I believe, 14 at half and got down 21, came back and won that ball game. And and other times, we get down that far, we'd probably best just ride it off and let's go ahead and get on the bus. But you didn't see that with that team last year, and it made a big difference. And then we came back the next week. You played at Bentonville West, played them down to the wire, and that's the one. If you love running hard-nosed football, you would have loved that, Don. Southside ran a 23 plays on one series and ran a whole quarter out. I mean, that was the most impressive thing I've ever seen since broadcasting was watching an offensive line. But the sad thing about it, they called a hold on us. We had to kick a field goal at the end.
Yeah. Harbor's been a little Jekyll and Hyde this year.
Yes.
They're 2-4, but they're 2-1 in the conference. And again, we talked about that they are, our schedules have been flipped. They're playing these, the teams that we're playing toward the end. But it seems like when Harbor plays okay, that they play well. But boy, when they don't, it's the next 3 or 4 weeks are going to be really interesting.
Yeah, they had a receiver too, and I cannot think of his name, but he was really good. And he was only a sophomore last year. They're going to set a screen up nicely, and boy, Southside almost took that. That was big old Andrew Reeder right there to almost grab it. They set the screen up, and Reeder's right there amongst the big guys to knock the ball away.
It would have been interesting if Reeder would have picked it off. The lumbering down the other direction might have been enjoyable to watch.
He might have danced halfway down to the goal line. Yeah. Good job, though, by Southside. Came with that hard rush, and that's what kind of messed it up, too. I think they actually got – you don't set the screen. You got to time that, right?
Yes. But I think that's a good call. We've been in their backfield, so you let them in a little bit and then hope that you get on the backside of that rush, and then you may have a little room back on the back end. Your other guy, he's young. You feel do the sideline? You think he do the sideline? I don't know. Dalton used to love the Dalton loved the sidelines. Well, he knows everybody down there. The funny about Dalton was having up there doing color at Bryant one time. They were getting killed. It was a play where it was like a jailbreak where we had a quarterback, like five guys all hitting at the same time. Okay, we should be live. And he made some comment about, we don't want that to happen. Right. We should be live. So I fell off the sort of I can't turn it off. Okay. You can't turn it off? Not if I'm just ending the stream. I mean, if you want to unplug your lights. Two to six. Wow, really? Is that 8 minutes or 6 minutes? 8 minutes. Oh, man, I'm an old dude. Huh? I'm an old dude. I see that. My mic's on. Sure.
Well, welcome back to Gage Stadium. We've had some technical difficulties. Hopefully, we'll have that corrected now. Southside leads here at half, 42-6. It was a first half, Don, where Southside came out, just really took it to Heritage early and opened it up, leading 28-zip in the first quarter.
They did on the last drive. We had the flag bugaboo again. We had two pass interferences and a roughing the passer call that got those guys down. They scored with about 15 seconds, blocked extra point to make the halftime score 42-6.
Yeah, I've got a question too. The Heritage coaching staff not going for 2 points there because you're going to be in the mercy rule going into the second half, being well, actually 36 down now, but would have been 35. A little bit surprised they didn't try to get two to try to, stay out of the mercy rule to start the second half, but they'll get the ball to start the second half. But it was a first half, really. Isaac Gregory, big first half, two first half touchdowns. Peyton, Carter Zimmerman, a touchdown. A big catch, too, by Jackson Davis for a touchdown. And then it seems like almost every week we see it, a big, what was it, 58-yard run by Amari Tucker.
Several long plays scored. I think we had, what, two or three drives that were less than 4 plays for touchdowns?
Yeah, we had a drive. Actually, it was our second drive of the game was a one-play 11-yard drive after the fumble recovery by John Parkinson, 11-yard run by Isaac Gregory. Then we come back and get the ball again on our 43-yard line, and it's a two-play drive. You had the big 57-yard play run by Gregory for the touchdown. Actually, Gregory got all the yardage on that, caught a 9-yard pass, and then the long run to get the touchdown. And then they come back with a three-play drive of 80 yards, which is the 58-yard touchdown run by Mari Tucker.
Well, we were talking about whether they were going for two or not, and I'm not, after last week and the week before, I mean, if you go for two and the clock runs, shortens that, it doesn't shorten that game. So, maybe they would like for it to be over.
Well, the good thing for the Mavs, I think you'll see this in the second half. I don't know. You might see the first team come out play a little bit, maybe a series or two, maybe not. Don't know what Coach Dameron's thinking. Obviously, the good in all this is twofold, and basically you're getting some kids off that'll get a chance to play in the second half that may not get a lot of playing time. And then also you're getting your starters out of there. There's always that risk of injury, so you want to get them out of there. So it's twofold right there, and that'll help Southside. As we talked about in the pregame, the gauntlet that the Mavericks went through to get to this point, getting through that. So they should be pretty healthy coming towards Harbor next Friday night at Jim Rowland Stadium.
Well, I think this game is probably been decided already. I mean, you just never know for sure, but it looks like this game is decided. Uh, Three big games. We cannot afford to be up 42-6 and have Amari get hurt, or Isaac, or some of these guys, or some of the defensive guys getting hurt. I think that we can kind of like the Van Buren game. If you remember, we pulled a lot of the starters out late. I think they scored two or maybe three in the second half
Yes.
against our second team. And I don't care if this game ends up being 42-21 or something like that. You got the win, and your team leaves healthy. And next week is Harbor, big game. Harbor's always a big game. It's always usually a closely played game.
Well, Harbor's a team that comes in. It's always, I call it smash mouth football. They really don't play that way, but on defense, I know they do. They'll hit you hard and everything. But you were talking about scores.
It's the schedule that they've played over the first 3 or 4 weeks. So I think there can be a lot of change and some real separation between the top of the bracket and the bottom of the bracket, or the top of the division and the bottom. I think there's going to be some teams that are going to have to go through the Fayetteville, Bentonville, Rogers gauntlet and may struggle.
Well, from what I've seen so far, I really don't expect Fayetteville or Bentonville to lose to anybody else but themselves. When obviously playing tonight, that'll be the one blemish. I just think those teams are that good, and they're just a cut above everybody else. Now Rogers might slip in on one of them, but don't really see it happening. So you got to take advantage of what you can do. And we look at the defense tonight. Well, one thing I want to go back to is I know Coach Dameron can't be happy with I don't know the total yards. We're well up of 60, 70 yards in penalties tonight.
We had 45 yards in the last drive, or 40 yards in the last drive. And I think we were talking about before we got back on air. We had two or three other than that. So when you're playing a team and winning by this margin, you should play cleaner. You should play cleaner. Speaking of the game in Fayetteville, Fayetteville was down. This is Fayetteville and Bentonville. Fayetteville was down 14-7 in the first quarter, and they've come back, and they're 21-14 at the half. And again, I think that game decides the 7A West championship.
Yes, and those two guys, it's kind of odd that everybody talks about Fayetteville Springdale being a big rivalry. No, no, it's not. It's Bentonville Fayetteville. Those two teams really do not like each other, and it'll go back and forth. And of course, both teams are loaded, so that makes it even the bigger rivalry in itself. But we had talked about this on the air last week. I kind of brought this question up to Terrell King, and I was asking, who do you think is the team to beat between Fayetteville and Bentonville? And my response was, I think it's Fayetteville because I thought Fayetteville's defense may be just a tad better than Bentonville's defense.
I would agree with that, and I think the quarterback play on both of those teams was very good. I think that's the two best quarterbacks in the West. I haven't seen anyone from the Central, but I think that those two guys are the cream of the crop in the West, at least.
Oh, I think that's unquestioned. You look at the two quarterbacks, Drake Lindsay, physical specimen, 6'5". He is built like a quarterback should be, and I think he's already committed to the University of Minnesota. So he's got the tools. He throws a very nice ball, puts it right there. Well, on the other hand, you've got Carter Nye, Rodney Nye's son that played baseball for the Razorbacks. I think everybody in Fort Smith knows about the Nye family from Cameron. So,
Yes.
but that young man, he's not as big. He's very smart. He throws a very good ball. But the key for him, like I said, he's very smart. He's able to move around and make things happen with his feet. And that may be the more difference for him, I would say, as opposed to Lindsay, is he's a little bit more mobile. But that being said, I would think that on the next level, probably your quarterback is going to be your main one. So your quarterback would be probably Lindsay.
I would agree. He's got the size for it. Big arm. We remarked last week in the press box, he just throws a really nice ball, really tight spiral. And when there was a throw he made. It was 50 or 52 yards from what we figured, and he just doesn't. It's effortless. He doesn't like he's having to crank up on it to get it down the field. I was very impressed with him. I thought his receivers let him down a couple of times.
Oh, a couple of drop passes.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's another advantage that Bentonville has. You got C.J. Brown committed to the Razorbacks. That young man, they were saying, and I guess this is pretty fast. I said they timed him at 22 miles an hour. So
Holy cow!
he
Holy cow!
he can run up and down the field. And I saw him run that tunnel screen and actually go to the outside instead of the inside. Wasn't touched against the Mavericks. But you look at the game tonight too. Southside did what you had to do, Don. They came out offensively and just really kind of took it to Heritage. Defensively, you get the big turnover on the first series, but there's still some things you've got to work on. That letting Heritage go down on that last series, you still had your first team defense in there, but those receivers are getting open off the corners. Got to do a better job of
turning around.
Yes.
Both of the calls here were down going to our right, and both of them was the left cornerback, and he was with him. He just didn't turn around, and so there was two calls there that got him down to the 1 yard line. There was 30 yards in there. Well, 25, I think, in that. And then, of course, on the touchdown throw, there was the roughing the passer call, and so didn't hurt us too much. They onside kicked on the kickoff and didn't go 10 yards. We got the ball back there and ended the half. Is how the half ended.
Well, that's kind of a big play for most teams. They'll give up that field position not to let number one Isaac Gregory have a chance to return because he's capable of going to the house anytime he gets it. But again, a good first half for the Mavs. They did everything you wanted to do. They had 42-6 here at the half. I know there's some things they still want to work on, and I wouldn't be surprised too if you don't see that first team defense come out and play a couple of more series, try to get some work in, and that's going to be the key, I think, for Southside. Obviously, going forward is build some confidence on that defense. Getting those corners out there, letting them work those sides, and I'm a little bit surprised too. We haven't seen Demarion West out there tonight.
I agree. I think also on the offensive side of the ball that the second half might be a great opportunity for us to see George Harrell back in the game. He's contributed. He hasn't played a whole lot, but he has contributed. Had a good play last week, if I remember correctly, on that. It'd be great to get some of those guys in, but I just don't think that we can leave Isaac Gregory and Amari out there long tonight.
They won't. I think they might, and they may not play again. I don't know what the coaches are thinking. They may have them go in one more series. I do think, and I could be wrong on that too. I would kind of think your defense might come back out. I know Coach Dameron probably not real happy that they gave us that touchdown at the end of the first half. I mean, obviously you still hit 42 zip at the time, but you're working on things. And I go back to Bobby Petrino when he was the coach at Arkansas. He would run his practices. They would run full speed on everything. And I know, Coach, you want to see that for Southside doing full speed, and even though they're far ahead, they want to keep. And that ball's going to
Uh,
stay in the field of play as Dingle will pick it up, and he's going to have an open field, and they're going to run him out of bounds.
that kickoff looked like a 9 iron. That thing checked up at about the 4 yard line and just stopped. And it looked like Dingle was moving forward,
Yeah,
and that ball might have been sitting there. Southside goes by there, and all of a sudden we've got the ball at the 3 or 4 yard line on the
that's what
recovery.
we talked about on the opening kickoff. If the ball does the same thing, it actually took another hop into the end zone. If it does the same thing, Southside's got the ball, and Southside looks like
I see a lot of familiar faces
a
out there,
lot of
don't
same
you?
starters in there. Yes,
Yeah.
that's got a few different ones in there. See big old Andrew Reeder still in the ball game, and they're going to get him in the backfield.
That's Hester.
Trying to think who that was. Trying to get the number if he turns around here. I believe that's Parkinson over there making the defensive play.
Loss of 5 on that. Let's bring us up second down and 15, going the right direction for us.
Yeah, I think you'll see the defense play a series or two. And you might see the offense come out for one more series. And Don, I know you're in love with when they bring those tackles over like that, as quarterback's going to keep it here, and he's going to be hit and drop down as Castaneda doesn't get much that time. We'll bring up third down, third and 12 as we're in the Arkansas mercy rule. This will be a continuous clock rest of the ball game.
Well, hopefully we can continue to play well here and get the ball back and run the clock out with us with the ball.
Got 20 seconds on the play clock. Again, the trip set to the left of Castaneda. Looks like him and Hester may be a bit confused as to the blocking situation here. Southside's going to come with some heat.
Oh,
They'll bring some heat down, and the ball's thrown. It's complete.
that's a nice catch.
But
That,
again, it's what you talked about, Don. The defender never turned around to find the
yeah,
ball till the
yeah.
last second.
And that was Christian Morgan on the coverage. Don't see a whole lot of Christian. So I was noticing on a couple of the linebackers looked like guys that we didn't see in the first half. And I think these guys are going to have to throw the ball. It does them no good if they're going to try to put points on the board, to try to run the ball.
The Mavs kind of coming up a bit. They've got Peyton Zimmerman actually working as a linebacker, it looks like. He's going to work out, go back to his safety position. First and 10 at the south side 47-yard line. Castaneda wants to throw. They're going to set a screen
Does
up,
that
set up
screen?
nicely over the middle, and Southside reacts good. Boy, there's a nice defensive play for the
Outstanding.
Mavs. That's big old number 32, it looked like out there, Ethan Dunn.
Braxton Canada also in on that tackle.
I like Ethan Dunn, the sophomore linebacker. We saw him play some earlier in the season against Wynn. He has had some spot duty, and that young man, we call his name, it seems like every game that he plays in.
Well, it's good that we're able to get those guys some playing time. We've got a lot of graduates, seniors graduating this year, so it's good to get some of these sophomores in there. And you just kind of have to be patient with it.
And you've got some seniors in there that are linebacker. Here's a keeper by Castaneda. Not much they're going to get. Maybe 2 yards brings up third down, third, and about five under 9 minutes now. 8:32 to go here in the third quarter. But you've got some linebackers. Cassius White actually started early in his career, has dealt with some injuries. Joby Gonzalez was going to be your middle linebacker, and I believe he got hurt the first game of the year last year. So they've had to move some kids around. But this team, and I tell people this team is a senior laden team. These kids all played as sophomores, and you're kind of seeing the fruits of their efforts. Getting better and better. And this team has some talent. It's just a matter of shoring up, a few things on defense. And third down, third and five for the War Eagles. Here comes the heat. They're going to
And
throw the ball.
oh,
Boy, I'll tell you what, that wasn't tipped. That was Cassius
yeah,
Wyatt right there. He was going to
someone,
catch it and
yeah,
walk to the
someone was not fooled on that, were they?
no. And if you don't tip that ball, he's in the end
Oh,
zone right
there's no
now.
doubt. He is all by himself going down the sideline. Brings up fourth down. Nice job. Nice job by the Mavericks.
Again, 7:33 to go here in the ball game. Excuse me, in the third quarter. So I'll go for it on fourth down. You got 19 seconds on the play clock.
Really no reason not to.
Well, yeah. If you're Heritage, you're working on things. You're trying to build things, and you want to build a little bit of confidence. Yeah, you go for it here. It's no doubt. Castaneda wants to throws the ball in the middle, has an open receiver. That's Dingle, and he's going to have the first down. Mavs got to do a better job of what I see too is they don't have a self awareness of where the first down marker is.
Yes.
And when you're watching them play, you don't even feel comfortable if it's third and 17.
But you would think on that play that, they were what, third down and five, that they're going to try to run something in the 5 to 8, 10 yard range. And those safeties need to come up and make sure that they cover that a little closer.
The first and 10, the south side 34-yard line. Still nice drives by the War Eagles. Had a nice ending first half drive to get points, and now they're driving down here with the opening drive of the second half.
Starting to see some new numbers out there on defense. I don't know if you've noticed or not. Looks like they're starting to work in some of the younger guys.
Now you got some different linebackers in there.
Yeah.
It's like still big old number 89 still out there getting some
Yeah.
playing time.
Yes.
Parkinson along with I think Reeder may still be in the ball game, and you got both safeties still in the game. Zimmerman along with Kincannon. Here's a
Oh,
bad
snap.
snap, and he's going to have to eat it and keep it. And there's Ethan Dunn to hit him first. He gets away from Dunn and will be tackled by Andrew Reeder.
Loss of three. You there? Two or three?
Yeah,
Third down and what, 9?
third and 9. He got a nice spot on that because I thought he was further
Yeah.
back when he fumbled it.
And the snap was high. We talked about that earlier in the season for Southside. That snap being high just totally ruins the rhythm of the play,
Exactly.
and that's got them there.
Yeah, you're right. We saw that earlier because if you don't get that snap, then your quarterback's kind of left because your running back's already taken off and it messes up. But Southside really done a pretty good job. I believe that's Jace Jackson. Here's
Oh,
going to be an
it's,
interception. I'll tell you what, this might be a race. He's at the 40, 45.
oh,
It's a good return there by Devin Huggins.
nice job, Devin Huggins. Nice job. Got to the right spot. If you'll notice, the corner had really good coverage on the guy running the skinny post there, and Devin kind of hung out deep there, and the guy didn't see him, and he came and he threw it right to him. There was nobody around him when
That's kind
Devin
of
caught
similar to the Arkansas Ole Miss game
it.
or KJ
Unfortunately,
a couple of times.
yes, unfortunately,
But in KJ's defense was he was running for his life the whole game, so
yeah.
it was tend to be expected. So let's see what Southside can. Looks like they got some new backs in there. Looks like Joaquin Fox in the backfield. Your quarterback will be Blake Forsgren. Here's a handoff to Fox. Not going to get anything.
Yeah, that doesn't look like any of the starters on the offensive line either.
It's like you got number 4 in the ball game, Wilson Key, the younger
Yeah,
son of Coach Key's
Coach
son.
Key's boy. Yeah.
Number 86, or no, it's 85,
That's
Grant Blythe in the ball game, senior receiver. Also, Jalen Webb working from the slot. Here's a pass by Fortune, and there's a nice throw, going to be complete to Blythe. Should have a first down.
This is the right thing to do, Keith. You know it. We're up 42 to
Oh, I
6. You got
agree.
a running clock. Let those kids get out there and get a little playing time. Make sure you keep your starters healthy, and there's bigger fish to fry in the next 3 weeks.
And I don't think, too, I don't think you really change your offense up either. I think you run the same offense that you're running to let these kids run it. Don't just depend on, just handing the ball off.
Yeah, don't run between the tackles. Ouch.
There's a handoff to Fox. He's going to be hit and knocked down.
River Zanes got there quickly, number 17.
He's had a couple of nice plays for Heritage tonight. We saw it on a punt return. He actually overran the punt, then came back to get Grayson York.
Yeah.
Bring up second down, second and 14. We're down to 3:33 to go here in the third quarter. Southside leads 42 to 6.
Play coming in from the sideline.
Blake Forsman, he showed a good arm so far in the little bit of playing time he's got. Will throw the ball deep down the field, has an open receiver, and boy, the ball just a bit outside there.
That was
Intended for
Wilson
Wilson
Key.
Key, yes.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, if Wilson's anything like what Russell Key was, he's going to be a good one.
Say, Russell was a gamer, wasn't he? That kid was tough as nails.
Yes, he was.
Tough as nails.
Bring up third down, third and 14. They're really doing this continuous clock a little bit different. I don't think it's stopped yet. I see a lot of times where they'll stop it, start it, stop it. I don't think a lot of officials really know what to do on that.
And I think it goes from officiating crew to officiating crew. Sometimes you'll see guys call it entirely different. Ouch.
Tried to set up a screen over there. The ball goes incomplete. Pass was intended for Maddox
Maddox.
McKillop.
Yeah. It's a name I haven't seen this year. Have you seen him?
He played a little bit early against Van Buren, and I think we saw him maybe just a little bit against possibly Wynn.
On comes York for the punt.
Be the first punt of the night for Southside. Got one checking in late over there.
All right.
So return man stands back at his 10-yard line. Here's a punt. It's going to be a
That's
good punt.
nice
Good
punt.
punt by York. It's going to take a bounce.
Oh,
Takes a nice Southside bounce, and they're down there for the coverage. Good job by the Mavs.
and let me tell you, a little risky, but I think that's a good play by the receiver. That ball's going to roll down inside the 10 if he doesn't pick it up. So he picks it up, takes one step, and gets hit. But he probably saved his team 7 or 8 yards and getting pinned back
But that
inside the
being
10
said, it
yard.
was actually a dangerous ball to pick up.
Yeah.
But that was a good job, too. Evan Shelby was the first Maverick down there along with Devin Huggins. Huggins is one of those guys, too, that special teams, he's a football player. You can see that he's usually right there to make a play most times on special teams. And this will be the second possession of the second half for the War Eagles. We've got 1:25 to go here. Southside, I believe, safely has this game tucked away, 42 to 6. Here's a handoff to the left side. Oh, there's a
Oh,
nice tackle over
goodness.
there. Thank you very much. That was our man, Ethan Dunn, over there, takes Hester down.
Yes. Hello, Mr. Helster.
Dunn's one of those kids too. He's a pure football player. You watch that kid play, and he really, I mean, you saw it right there. And you got Michael Fretheim also checking in on the defensive line for the Mavs. We'll try to get some of the names and numbers here. Derek Lacey back. Got to meet his parents a couple of games ago. Really sweet people. He's going to be one of those kids too. I believe will help Stuart Adams in the basketball team this year.
Looking forward to that.
Well, that's an interesting formation right there. They're going to go strong left this time. And it's going to be a direct snap, and that's Hester coming around the left side. But it was a pretty good hold off that side.
Yes.
I was trying to
You
think.
saw that too?
Yeah, that was Aiden Johnson, number 30 for Southside. Boy, I tell you what, I've about decided from watching this, Dom, that grabbing the jersey in the 7A West is okay.
Yes. Yeah. It's suggested that you not, but not required that you
Yeah, I
not.
don't think they really require that you
Yeah. I tell you what, these the shifting that Heritage has done tonight, and just the offensive line formations have been something that I haven't seen. Uh,
It's
it,
it's amazing they're able to do it without drawing penalties.
yes,
Being they get set. We had a play last year against Bentonville West where they had fourth and like inches, and they brought the fullback up to take the snap from center. And we had this argument. Well, it wasn't an argument. We both agreed on it that should have been a penalty for coming towards the line of scrimmage on the snap. And but he was coming in motion, and we were trying to figure out if he turned and stopped, but he looked like he came forward. So, and folks, we're in a big ball game here right now, and we're kind of looking for things to talk about sometimes.
well, that was the end of the third quarter, so the running clock certainly made that go by quickly. And
Yeah,
I don't believe that other than I don't. Did we stop the clock? Did they stop the clock at all in
I
the
don't
third
think they
quarter?
did.
Yeah.
No, I don't think they did.
Going to check some of the other scores or in the 70 West, see if I can catch us up here a little bit. Last time we had Conway and Northside, it was 20-10 Conway at Conway. 26-10 at the half for Conway and Northside.
Well, Northside kind of hanging there. I talked to Buzz earlier today, and I know that Northside actually was fighting some injuries tonight, and they lost some kids earlier in the year, and they were fighting some injuries. So that's a good effort. You're playing that Buck James team. You know they're going to come in there, going to pop you first 5 or 6 minutes of the ball game, and Northside hanging tough.
Buck knows when to take over a program, doesn't he?
I think so. Here's a keeper on the outside by Hester, and he's going to be hit and dropped at the 40-yard line.
First down there, isn't it?
That was Presley Chitwood over there for Southside, along with Aiden Johnson. And also over there for Southside was Chandler Garrett. We saw Garrett play a little bit last week against Fayetteville. Southside linebackers, you got Dunn in there along with Cassius Wyatt.
Joby Gonzalez in there, number 7 also.
Yeah, Joby was like I said, was a starter Northside game last year, and I believe he got hurt. And then once he got hurt, he just couldn't get back in the lineup. Castaneda will keep the ball here, and he's hitting the
Oh,
backfield. What's a nice play. That's my man, Ethan Dunn, right there.
Ethan Dunn is turning it on here in the second half, isn't he? A loss of 5 on that? 4 on that?
Yeah, we were talking on the way up here that, we're going to lose quite a bit, but on that defensive side, you got those two safeties back, and you got Dunn and Parkinson back at linebacker, and Quan Torrey back at nose guard. So
Well,
you got
there's
makings of players.
there's 5 guys on defense, 5 sophomores that have gotten a significant amount of playing time,
Yeah,
both corners.
yeah, Dwight Johnson, and I think Demarion West will be ready, next year to get a lot of playing time. Here's Gonzalez on the blitz. Here's a pass down the field. It's going to be caught on a nice catch at the Southside 28-yard line.
And that's what we were talking about earlier in the game is that safety has to get over there. The safety was chasing a little bit on that play too. It gotten by the cornerback by a yard or so, and the safety just had not gotten over to that one.
That was a nice catch, too, off
It
the
was.
corner. They got listed as 13. We don't have a 13 on our roster. That was a nice catch over the shoulder. Here's going to be an inside screen to him, and he's going to fight his way inside the 20 down to the south side 17-yard line. Be another first down for the War Eagles. The thing's kind of twofold. Obviously, people will look at this score and say, well, Southside really didn't go in there and just tear them up. But Southside really hasn't come out here in the second half trying to by any means. They had their second team in there and got their second team defense in playing now. Here's a handoff to Hester up the middle. He's going to fight his way down to about the 12-yard line.
We were talking at halftime when we were down. We were over in the other booth, and we were asking the question: how did uh, somebody score 35 points in the second half when you're up 49-0? And so, one of the doctors that works here said that it was they left their starters in.
Really?
Yeah, said left their starters in, and I'm going.
Yeah. And
That's an injustice to your players. Let those guys get out there and play, and got another first down.
first and goal at the 3-yard line. Actually, I think I misspoke on the coach, but it was a nice defensive play as they get Hester down.
Didn't pick up the number on the tackle. Loss of 2 there.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting to hear if maybe they would say who it was in the PA. I think he missed it too. We'll try to get that. It's actually the guy playing right in right now. The second goal for the War Eagles back at the 5 yard line. Yeah, I misspoke on the coach of Bentonville. It's actually Jody Grant. And here's a snap, and boy, he's going to be hit and dropped in the backfield, back to the 12 yard line. Is
Exactly what we were talking about earlier. That snap. If you just, if it's not a good snap, all of the rhythm's gone into
Yeah,
play.
he's had some, and that was Chandler Garrett back there for the Mavs. Brings a third down, third and goal from the 10 yard line. Mavs coming with the heat again. That's what I do like. I mean, don't play that base defense. I mean, if you want to blitz, do what you got to do. Let these kids work as hard as the starters. Let them do what they want to do. Now we should have, I guess we're going to have a timeout. I thought maybe they'd get Dingle. Looked like he turned towards the line of scrimmage, but they got the timeout. Exactly 8 minutes to go here. Southside leads 42-6.
And I agree with you. I think what you're saying here is that if you put in your underclassmen and things like that, don't try to soften the game plan. Let them run what we run. And we've already put younger players in, and if they can dominate you on from the defensive side of the ball, then that's just what it is. But don't cheat those guys.
Yeah, and I've got to laugh too, Don, when I think about this. You got that second team offense in there. I know those guys would say, "Hey, with that offensive line, let's at least put those starters in there at least one series for
Yeah,
us, guys."
yeah.
No disrespect to the backup players because they're learning going to be good at some point, but you got that first group in there, and you like to run behind those big hosses if you can.
At the same time, that offensive line that we see on the field right now is going to be a big part of the offensive line next year, and it's 7A West next year like it is this year. So you might as well put them in, let them sink or swim.
Bentonville and Fayetteville aren't going anywhere.
No,
Those teams are all still loaded, and they're good. They've got good coaching staffs, but they've got the numbers too. We talk about this with, and even the Heritage people talking about this. Well, those numbers sometimes catch up to you, and that's I think what's been so exceptional about this Southside team is these kids all playing as sophomores have really just kept with the program and stayed well. And it's going to be fourth and goal now.
that was another screen there, and I think that Southside put enough pressure on there where he one hop that to the young man.
Well, Castaneda actually was trying to throw off his back foot,
Yeah.
and that's why that ball bounced. He wasn't able to get set. I think he had a little bit of happy feet there. If he sets himself, he might be able to get the throw there. But
Was fourth and goal from the 10.
this would be a good opportunity here for the Southside
Yeah.
defense to get a stop. Maybe we're down to 7:21 on the clock. Going with a three receiver set to the right of Castaneda. Going to throw the ball over the middle. It's going to be complete to Dingle for the touchdown.
Oh. Just that little skinny slant back there and got behind the linebacker, and it trips right, I think, on that one.
Well, I guess one way to look at it, you made them work for it anyway.
Yes,
So
yes. And again, the whole purpose of the second half when you have a running clock is to get some kids some playing time and see if they can get better to help us out later in the year.
looks like they're going to go for two here. Bit surprised by that though, Don. I thought they'd go for two in the first half when they had a chance to stay underneath the mercy rule. Gonna spread the field out again. Now they bring a man in motion. Southside going to come with the heat again as Castaneda takes it. He's going to throw the ball. It's going to be
Intercept.
knocked down, actually knocked down on the
Knocked down.
play. It's a good job by Mavs. And I believe that was Aiden Johnson, number 30, who knocked the ball down.
7:07 left in the game. Mavs up 42-12. You still got to be happy with that.
The thing about doing this, though, Don, is the first half was a lot of fun, a lot of points and everything. But you get to the second half, and it's just a totally different game right there. But it's good to see a lot of these kids, and we're trying to mention every kid that we can that's out there on the field. And I was real pleased with what Southside's defense has done here in the second half. That was a good job too, really getting pressure on a Castaneda. He really had nobody to throw the ball to, and for the most part on that series, when they got inside the 3 yard line, with the exception of the touchdown, they really did a good job of making
Yes.
Heritage work for it.
Two lost yardage plays in a row.
I want to see them kick it deep here. They've got Wilson Key along with my man Demarion West going to be back deep. And I'll tell you what,
There's
Demarion,
Marion. There's
yeah,
the Marion.
I think they'll probably try an onside here would be my guess, but I'd like to see Demarion West get a chance. He actually returned a kickoff for a touchdown against Van Buren. And that's a good
Good
job by
job.
Southside. Just take that ball and get down with it.
And you can't blame Heritage for doing that.
No, and that was Kincannon that was in the ball game. Joe Kincannon
Yeah,
that recovers the onside kick.
yeah.
No, I have no problem with it all, and I don't think Coach Dameron does either. As we talked about, there's two things working here tonight. Number one, Southside wanted to put this game away. Number two, Heritage, they were down 42 zip. Southside could have really poured it on if they wanted to, but you also don't want to. You want something positive to come out for both teams, and if you don't try the onside kick, to me, that's saying your coaches quit trying.
Yes.
So I agree exactly with what they did. Forrest's going to look to throw the ball. Well, throw the ball is going to be complete, and he's going to be hit, dropped at the Heritage 46-yard line.
Boston Bolton.
Yeah, Boston Bolton on the catch, the junior wide receiver.
Ball marked at the 46. Was that second down and 4?
2nd and 4. Trying to get the number out there too. Looks like number 80's out there too. Tanner Stacy, sophomore wide receiver. Second down. Here's a handoff. No, it's a keeper by Forrest going off the left side. He's going to get a first down. Will be tackled out of bounds. I've been calling that play all night, Don. I think we ran it one time for a touchdown. That was there. It was there.
It was. Finally, it was there. Might have been there the whole night.
Well, it was.
We just didn't
Yeah.
run it.
I think Zimmerman scored a touchdown in the first half on it,
Yeah.
running that play, because you key so much on those big backs, and then once you do that, you take it outside. The problem they've had, though, with it is the indecision sometimes on whether or not to hand it off or take it, and that's cost them a couple of times. I just love the idea of running that play and let's run it quick. Let's hit that hole hard. Let those big guys do the work. Here's a handoff. Oh, that's McCallum on the handoff. Makes a nice move to the inside. We'll get maybe a yard. Brings up second down, 2nd and 9. We're under 5 minutes. 4:25 exactly to go here.
Chargers looks like it might be a little easier to get on the outside than it is on the inside. I think they've got all their starters still left in there. I know that 2 of those 3 defensive linemen are the guys who were in the game when it started.
Well, that's the thing too. I don't blame Heritage. I'd keep, they've kept the quarterback in there. I would get
Yeah.
some work.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. If they cut it down to 42 to 35, yeah, you might be switching on that. As here's a nice screen going to be set up, and boy, they just missed that one block there.
Yeah.
As it was set up well.
We talked about that on the way up tonight, that just making sure we do a really good job blocking downfield with the receivers. We'll run trips right, or 2 on both sides, and sometimes we just don't get that good block there. And a good block there would have broken that guy loose.
Well, that was a big play last week for us, was the screen. It got us out of a couple of tough situations. They had the one early with the Mari Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, 3rd and 15, I believe it was, and through the screen. And 2 or 3 times we worked on that. As Forsgren wants to throw the ball, throws the ball. It's going to be on the backside. Had an open receiver.
That was Wilson, wasn't it? Wilson Key?
That was Wilson Key.
I tell you, if he catches that, it might be a race to that far corner.
Well, if he's able to lead him just a bit,
Yeah.
that's 6 points.
Yeah.
I think Southside, I'm going for it here. This is, the
You're
38
38
yard
yard
line. Yeah, no
line.
reason to play field position. Looks like
Yeah.
Heritage is expecting to punt here. They had the safety playing back about the goal line. We always called that in Little League, Don. Called him the Frog Man. I used to play that when I'd play with the high school kids, and they didn't want me to get hurt, so they'd make me play the Frog Man. I'd be the back guy. BYU did that a lot.
I've never heard it called the Frog
It's
Man.
the Frog. That's what they told me it was the Frog Man. So again, 4th down, 4th and 10 for the Mavs. Southside going to get a penalty here, it looks like.
Yeah, looks a little indecisive there. Do we call timeout, or are we going to take the penalty?
Yeah, there's going to be a delay of game on the Mavs. We'll move it back 5 yards. I like what I've seen so far of Blake Forsgren. Got a good arm.
I haven't seen a bunch of Blake. Blake plays on Monday night, and I don't see a lot of that. He looks decent. He
Yeah.
looks decent.
I think our JV team's actually having a pretty good year, aren't they?
Again, I don't keep up with it that much. I probably should, but I don't. Still going for it at fourth down and 14.
Gonna throw the ball down. I'm not sure who they're throwing to, but we've got a flag. This may be a hold. He had two Mavericks in the same area.
Well, it's in the spot where it would be a hold around the 28-yard line.
Should be an automatic first down. That's the
Officials
case.
holding the ball there at the 28.
I just watched something that was kind of interesting. The guy doing the change actually moved back a yard after he went forward.
I don't know if you guys noticed it last week.
I noticed a lot of
Yeah,
things with the change last
yes,
week.
yeah. That
Yes.
there was one guy would put the ball down 39. Somebody else would come in from the sideline and move it 2 yards,
Yes.
and then the guy running the box last week just wasn't on his A game. It was I kind of depend on those as the PA announcer. I kind of depend on that guy on the down, and we got lost a few times last week. First down, fall inside the 30.
Here's a handoff. Actually, gonna be it's a handoff. Was a late one.
It was.
Yeah, a late handoff as Joaquin Fox gets the ball. Will be tackled at the line of scrimmage. We'll bring up second down, second and 10. We've got 45 seconds to go here in the ball game. Southside going to win this ball game 42-12. They're going to have to run one more play because you got 27 on the play clock, 35 on the game clock.
Keith, this second half, it's flown by.
So they've got Aiden Wynn in the ball game now at running back. Wynn will get the hand. No, it's a keeper by Forsgren. I'll tell you what,
Ooh,
we'll blow that whistle dead, and that was a touchdown.
it was. I saw him start to slow down, and I didn't see a flag.
Well, that's going to run the clock out too. That's going to be the last play of the ball game. Southside going to win this ball game tonight. What I would call a very efficient effort by the Mavs.
They did what they needed to do. They got on them early, got it to 42, and they only have scored 2 touchdowns. And both of those, one was with the help of 3 penalties late in the first half, and then the last one was against our young guys. So I think Southside's got to be they got to win, and everybody's going to be healthy, and they live to play another day next week. Again, the next 2 or 3 games are critical for us.
Yeah, you got a little bit of a break there tonight. Coming out doing what you had to do to win. Came out, took it to them early, Don. That was the key in the ball game. Next week it's going to get a little bit tougher when Harbor comes to town, and very pleased. I know Coach is going to be pleased with everything except maybe the penalties. Not going to be happy with the penalties that the Mavericks had tonight, and a couple of things on defense I think they still have to work on. But offensively, this team's clicking. They've been clicking all year, and don't see any reason for that to slow down now. Final thoughts on tonight's ball game.
Well, I'm kind of curious what some of the other ball games do. But we got done what we needed to get done. I hate to keep kind of beating that dead horse, but we did what we needed to do, and we're not injured. We didn't have any injuries and all that, and we didn't get snuck up on, if that's the right terminology for it. So I'm like you. I think the biggest problem we had tonight was penalties, and I didn't track them, but I would bet that there were at least 8 or 9, which you're not going to be able to do. I don't think you can do that against West.
Well, that's the thing too. It's always good. In a sense, it's kind of good you had penalties because it gives them something to work on. You're never going to be satisfied. Obviously, when you play a season, there's always going to be something that you can work on. But like I said, a very efficient victory for the Mavs tonight as they win 42-12. Well, Mr. Tate, enjoyed having you up here tonight. Great job calling the ball game for what we got to call, and hope you get you back up here
we,
sometime.
we got a nice break.
Yeah,
Got to have some extra pizza.
yeah, we didn't know what to do, did
Yeah,
we? Yeah.
while we were down, and got to visit some of the good folks here at Heritage. And I would say that my experience with everybody we've seen tonight from Heritage was very good. People were very receptive and polite and accommodating, and all that. It was a great experience. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to do it.
Oh, glad to have you here. We may drag you out here for another game or two before the season's over. And, a good win for the Mavs tonight as they win 42-12 against Southside. They got the 3 ball games coming up that, if they can win those 3, probably going to get a third seed, which would be really good for this team. And, as I've been saying all along, I think this team's a dangerous team. They've got a chance maybe to do something once November gets here. This is the start of it tonight with Heritage. They've done that, and I know they're happy with that. But they're going to go back to work. Got Harbor. We don't. It's kind of a mystery team. We talked about that. We don't know what to expect from Harbor.
They're down 35-6 to West.
Yeah, which is really kind of scaring me about what West may have. So anyway, you're gonna come up next week. This could be a challenge next week because Harbor has while they aren't showing it tonight, they've got a pretty decent offense, and we seem to struggle in certain areas on defense, and you hope that's not something that we have to deal with all next week. But it's going to be a good challenge. I think it's a very winnable ball game, but it's going to be a good challenge for the Mavs next week, and hope everybody will come out to Jim Rowland Stadium as Southside will return home for the next two ball games as they'll take on Harbor next week, followed by Bentonville West the next 2 weeks. Hope to have a big crowd out there next week to watch the ball game. Everybody, thanks for watching. Have a great weekend and go Mavs.